A voice sweet and melodic entered the young girl's ears, though her eyes were closed. Through snow-colored hair, she saw a girl with round glasses hovering over her, blonde hair shining in the sun and making the young girl think of honey and gold. The stranger before her was concerned, but unwavering in her. "Are you all right?" the bespectacled girl asked. "Here, let me help you up." With some effort, the snowy-haired girl was pulled up off the ground and steadied by her companion's grasp. "Oh, pardon me. My name is Fen. What's your name?" "My name is, The young girl hesitated. What was her name? She closed her eyes, trying to concentrate on what should be second nature to her, but nothing came to mind. "I don't know." As they walked away from the gutter the girl was found in and entered a forest nearby, Fen started talking about herself and her life. From recounting Fen's adventures to the eccentric characters Fen was excited for the young girl to meet, the two laughed and walked as a soft breeze shook the forest around them. Despite it all, though, the snowy-haired girl couldn't help but feel worried. She wasn't sure how she got here, nor did she remember what might have caused the cloudiness that fogged her mind. Where did she come from? Suddenly, the young girl noticed a sharp glare shine from the branches only to be as quickly covered by leaves. And just as swiftly, an orange blur pounced towards Fen and the young girl, landing in front of them. "My name is General Muffy. I guard the forest, and I'm in charge of keeping everyone and everything safe. It's nice to meet a new friend of Fen's." The young girl couldn't help but smile at Muffy's sudden excitement. "Actually, Muffy, our friend seems to have lost her memories." "Oh no, that's terrible." Muffy grabbed the young girl's hands and held them close to her face. "If there's anything I can do, please let me know. Any friend of Fen is a friend of mine." "Actually, we were heading to the cottage to give our friend a chance to rest," Fen started to say. Before long, the three women found themselves walking along a cobblestone path that soon led to a quaint cabin. With some of its wooden posts covered in ivy, it seemed to be as much a part of the forest as the flowers surrounding it. A warm light welcomed them home, as the small flickering flame of a lantern hanging from the doorway danced to the setting sun. "You might as well stay with us for a while and get comfortable." Much time passed with the three girls in the woodland cabin. Helping around where she could, the young girl grew from being hesitant and anxious to a capable and confident person who would often volunteer to help with anything her friends needed. However, like the quiet of the morning passing into the commotion of the noon, such moments of peace would change. On one such day, the young girl's body made a sudden transformation. That morning, the young girl abruptly woke up with white ears and a bushy soft tail much like a dog's that matched the color of her snowy hair. On that day, Fen and Muffy stopped all their forest duties to figure out what it all could mean. "I don't know about anyone getting their ears and tail like this. How about you, Fen?" Muffy asked, examining the young girl. "No, Muffy, me neither. And I've never heard of features sprouting up like this. Have any memories come back to you, my dear?" After all this time of ease and content with her newfound family, the anxiousness of her unknown past revived from its temporary slumber. Now the questions and vagueness of her memory carried on with her, but with a vengeance. The once cozy home that had been her sanctuary for so many months abruptly became a smothering reminder of her unknown. "I need air," she whispered to the silent room. "Was I abandoned?" the young girl asked, close to tears. "Am I unwanted and unknown even within all of this?" A constellation started slowly moving towards her. Small sparks of stars began to cluster together, forming a shape that looked much like a being with a long paintbrush-like tail. With a soft smile and beautiful eyes that sparkled a deep rich blue that mirrored the night sky, the being held out their hand towards the young woman. As the young woman grasped Star's hand, she started feeling a weightlessness take over. She looked to find herself slowly rising from the ground. "You are not alone," Star said to the young girl. "I found my way, my purpose, through my lowest moment. The same will happen to you." Star gently pinched the young girl's face as they floated back down. "You will always have me, the stars, and your family to guide." As time continued to pass, the young girl started to become confident once again. Exploring the forest during the day with Muffy and by night with Star allowed the young woman to become curious, strengthening an adventurous nature that seemed to lie deep within her. Being encouraged by everyone around her, she became determined to take hold of her life and seek out her unknown origins in every new path she explored. She began helping Mufi with her more challenging duties of watching the forest. Most recently, however, she was put in charge of map making. The task was actually enjoyable and gave the young woman purpose. Before long, she was able to note the most traveled areas and started becoming emboldened to visit those that were lesser known. On such a day, the young girl decided to explore a stretch of forest that no one had ever seen before. At a glance, the entire area seemed uninhabited. Determined and with her map-making kit in hand, the girl jotted down her path amongst the ever-darkening thicket of these woods. As the sun unwillingly started to eclipse to the ever-going trees that lined her path, the young girl noticed a faint fog form at her feet. She started to get nervous, but her curiosity got the better of her feet and spirited her on. Eventually, the fog thickened at her feet. As her eyes adjusted to the shaded light, she noticed she was in a graveyard. As the young girl walked among the stones, she found a small flower bush that shone with morning dew despite it being late afternoon. Curious, she took a closer look. The dew was cold to the touch and she sneezed when it hit the tip of her nose. "You should wash your hands, you know." Startled, the young girl turned around to find a pale man behind her. "It's important to wash your hands after you sneeze." He trailed off dazedly. "What are you doing here, sir? I didn't even know anyone lived here." "Oh, I don't live here, my dear," the man said, slowly pacing to a nearby stone. "I'm just here fulfilling some last goals and duties." He leaned on the gravestone, looking up into the sky. "My name is Omi." Ignoring the question, he smiled again at the young lady. "I will not trouble you with asking for your name, since I know you don't know it." The young girl was shocked. "How did you know?" Omi walked up to her and, with a soft look and smiling eyes, whispered, "Only lost souls find their way here." He started walking away from the cemetery, despite the confused look on the young girl's face. She started to follow him and tried asking questions about him and his goals along the way. Before she knew it, however, the young girl found herself at the back of Fen and Mufi's cabin. Omi looked at her, smiling behind his clean bandaged mask. "You ought to rest now. It will be dark soon." Unfortunately, one day while on a detour from her map-making duties, the young girl discovered Omi missing. Maybe one day he will return. However, that day never came. After many empty, quiet days in the cemetery, the young woman decided that he really wasn't going to return. Such a feeling filled her with dread, one that she hadn't felt in a long time, but yet was deeper than the fear of her unknown ages ago. However, as she headed back to the cabin with the completed forest map in her hand, she reflected on her life here thus far. Meeting everyone, Fen, Mufi, Star, and Omi, was a true blessing. The fact they treasured her as their own was more kindness than she could ever have expected. To take in a lost girl with foggy memories and helping her shine through them and make new ones was a kindness the young woman vowed to repay one day. Overall, she realized she was truly happy. "But I still need to figure things out," the young woman said aloud, pacing the forest. "Why did I grow my ears and tail? Where do I come from? Perhaps you could help me find my memories."